Welcome back, everyone, to the South Side Kōrero. My name is Ōtara Vizzle. I have an amazing guest who's full of energy, and like I said in the podcast, is a rising phoenix, and his name is JT. So how did you feel about that podcast this afternoon?
It felt all right. Look, I'll have to review the footage.
Yeah.
Backstage veteran styles. I will have to. I'll have a look.
Go back to the grill
I'll sit down. I'll bun a little suit. I'll take my time to go there. But I think it felt good for me.
Awesome.
Personally, that's just me.
Hey. And I think that not only us, we did a good job. I think that everyone will enjoy that good job. So I hope you enjoy this episode. So, JT, you don't mind me calling you JT? It's cool.
Not at all. Yeah, that's my name.
Sweet. So, could you give us a little background about yourself and where you're from, so for our beautiful viewers to know who you are? Would that be okay?
Background, cool. I'm JT Hollow. Hello. Current reigning and defending NZPW Heavyweight Champion. I grew up outside of Auckland, so I grew up in Hamilton. And I'm from down Whakatane ways in a small community called Waimana. I moved to Auckland when I was younger, and I spent the entirety of that time out south. I actually studied down the road. I met Damon. Hey, Damon. Hey, big off-camera pop there. So we studied like down the road. So I consider this place a second home, especially Ōtara. It was my first time in the community in a long time. I was tripping. There's like tables near where the Jets is and stuff now. There was no tables there before. That's crazy. You know how long it takes to build a table? Multiple tables? That's insane, bro. I haven't been here in a long time. But
so first and foremost, I want to get this nerd, like Will said, I want to get this nerdiness out of the way. I felt like in the middle of your intro, go, reigning, defending. Mm-hmm. It felt like a little bit of Paul Heyman coming out of me going, I just want to hold your title while doing this interview.
No, it's fair. That's fair. I tend to give off that aura when the belt's around, at least. I'm not so cool without it.
Hey, you're still cool without it, though.
Oh, thank you.
First things first, I wanted to know what got you into wrestling in the first place, because it's not really something that a lot of our New Zealanders think about in terms of just sports in general. It's a lot about rugby, cricket, and whatnot. Well, yeah, what really got you into wrestling?
The rest, I don't know. It was one of those, so I never really liked rugby. And then you're 13, and then you're playing JB or whatever it is. And it's like, well, rugby's all right. But I'm still not watching soccer, whatever it was. I never really, wrestling was the same. It's wrestling. Okay, cool. Because Te Reo Māori is my first language. Wrestling, when I was young if you guys remember, am I there in my life?
Yeah,
when I was younger stage.
No, that's fine.
The TVs were fat, bro. And you had like the aerial gimmick, the bunny ears gimmick.
Yeah, I was at that same era as well.
So how I initially learned, and I think it's why my connection with wrestling is so strong, how I initially learned how to speak like conversational English. You go to like channel 128 on like a Friday night, and it'd be static, but instead of I could hear Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler calling Monday Night Raw. So that's
bro, I want to shake your hand. I did the same thing.
No way, that's great. Bro, because we don't have no Sky.
We had no Sky.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Sky, bro. Come on. We have bread, maybe.
Yeah.
So Sky, no way. So that's I think that's where I first I fell in love, because then it becomes. It's purely up to my imagination now at this point, because it's not visual yet. I had a couple of pointer references, but there was like a news article, and Kurt Angle was doing an angle slam. That is a pointer reference. There's the smallest clip in the Malcolm in the middle intro where Bret Hart's putting name redacted and a sharpshooter, and that's 2 seconds long in the Malcolm, and that's one of my point of references as I listened to wrestling. So I kind of fell in love with it that way. That's real weird, actually.
I love it because I'll tell you how I got into wrestling. So my dad, back in the days when the late 80s, early 90s, would record it back in TV2, had the contract with WWF. So not the Panda, by the way. WWF is in the wrestling. So he would record it, and then when
Yeah,
I was
weird if you just fell in love with wrestling. 'Cause
yeah,
of
so
pandas.
when I recorded when I became
Discovery
born,
Channel.
Oh.
I thought
so when I was born, pretty much Dad put this video tape in front of me. It was Survivor Series. I'll never forget about it. So that was my intro into it, and then that was the first time I saw someone as big as the Undertaker came out. So that was my first wrestling.
that's a big guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a big one to see.
Absolutely. So that's how I got my love of wrestling. So with that said, you mentioned Damon. So how did you meet Damon? Because we did an episode and he mentioned about MIT. So what did you do when you were at MIT?
Yeah. I moved to Auckland in my teens, and then along the way, I ended up doing the creative writing bachelor's alongside Damon. This was what do we class of 2016? Yeah. This is a little minute ago now. Always had a passion for the arts. I was trying to do the music thing at the time. I thought it was so cool. And that's kind of how I got over there. Shout out to them too. I was just walking past and it saddened my heart because it's just like a white space now.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the Performing Arts Building.
I met Will there actually. He was my moving image instructor years ago. The class I was failing many of them.
I love the fact that we have a circle of friends that we know each other from MIT. It's great.
This is an insane room to be sat in, if I can just say. This is actually crazy. But yeah, like that. Bro, it's just so... I have so many memories. I grew up there. And it's just like... I don't know if they have to paint the entire thing car parking or bland white. I don't know why they did that. But it's just reflective of the soul that is no longer there. But many great memories there.
Do you have any particular memories that you can remember about that building, about where you were doing your creative writing?
I think of... Gosh... To me, when I look back at those times, this is crazy. We're doing Love Grove talk here. When I look back on those memories, I look back fondly. I was a child. I was like 16. I think I was 17 when Damon and I met.
Hang on, say that again? 16, 17.
Yeah, I was like 16. In 2016, I would have been 17. Yeah, 100%.
God, I feel old. I was like,
my apologies.
27. No, you're good, bro. You're good. Sorry, continue.
So I was a baby, and I was like, I think I was always more than smart enough, but not mature enough. Not at all. Had a lot of growing up to do. But I look back at that time, I made a lot of mistakes. Oh boy. But I had a lot of good times too. Made some good friends. A lot of people I respect and cherish. A particular memory, it's all a blur. I remember us all being super stressed all the time. On like every level, on all of it, on just being a student, trying to pay your way, dealing with the social aspects of everything. I remember being pressed for about 3 years. That's what I remember being. But I was that age where I probably couldn't.
Yeah.
You're a boy stepping into. You're surrounded by like really intelligent people with a tapestry of life experience, and so no, but I love it though. I love it, and it's just that I become reminiscent of all of that when I walk around in the community because it has been a long time.
Yeah, it's you basically came from a different scene and then you joined into this scene and it basically amalgamated it into something new for you, and then you made it your own right at the end of it. And just watching you just explain your story about being here is awesome, because a lot of our Otarians who do leave they don't forget about their first time being in Ōtara, because it's always been their life goal to come back to Ōtara, or they do something else to do amazing, but always remember in the back of their mind that what they did in Ōtara was the funnest thing ever.
100%. I got off the bus and I was like, bro, why is this the first time I've been back in so long? I had to hit the little shop with the punny kick here. It's 1 for 3 now. Jeez Louise, the economy. What are we doing here? That was a 5 for 1 in my prime. Jeez. But I had to go link up. I had to go get a quick chicken wing on the way here. I was like, bro, what are we like? What a beautiful community, bro. And again, back to those like certain developments. They've got like you can get a bike. you can get a bike. I remember last time I was there, they're trying to run the boys on the bikes off the bike. Now you can get a bike here, bro. And it just, I don't know. I get a real nice, and maybe some of that's not deserved. Maybe I haven't been around, and I don't. But
No.
I feel really good being back in Ōtara.
No, honestly, once you've been in Ōtara, no matter how long you are, you've become part of the furniture in Ōtara. And Ōtara never forgets you, because that's the best thing about it. I can leave to God knows where, and then come back and Ōtara will be like, he's up, and then you go to the most greasiest chicken spot in
Yes,
Ōtara,
sir. Yes, sir.
and you can get your greasy chicken on, and you're like, it's all good. So when did you start your professional wrestling? I want to go back to the wrestling side of things, because it's I can't stop looking at your belt. But,
Fair.
so where did you begin your training to become a professional wrestler?
So I began training, I think I was 18, because I would have left MIT when I was 18, I think. So maybe I was 18, about to turn 19. That's when I started training. I'm 24 now, so I'm like in my 4th or 5th year, I think, something like that. I trained at so this particular championship belongs to a company in Auckland, based in Auckland, called Maniacs United. I trained with them. Oh, take a bump. Sorry, boys. I started training with them, and 2019. No, so I would have been 19 turning 20, because it was in 2019. Yeah, because I'm in my 4th year. Not that long ago.
Who did you train with, am I asking?
So I trained under. She was because we were talking about off mic. We were talking about IPW, one of the IPW originals.
Wow.
She was just plain evil.
Yeah.
I trained under JPE.
Yeah, I've heard of her.
No. She's she was around since the beginning, and she's done a lot, and she runs her own company. And now I still train out of there.
Yeah.
I'm one of the assistant coaches now, so
Way.
I train the people, which is, I guess, it's one of the things that becomes expected of you as a champion. It's more than just you look cool on your entrance. It's a real life responsibility. It is, which is funny when you consider the nature of professional wrestling. But I'm still under JPE at Maniacs United. Big up, coach. There you go,
Hey.
big popski for you.
Nice. So,
Fix that more.
So with that said, you mentioned. Do you still keep up with this? All right. Hang on, I got an idea. So keep this in. We'll fix it in post. Now we got this. You got this. Yeah, mate. Yeah. There you go, mate. There you go. My phone's underneath it. That's fine.
That's ingenuity at its finest.
Oh, I got the. There you go.
There you go.
So you mentioned about Te Reo Māori, and I find it interesting that that was your first language.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still keep up with the usage of Te Reo Māori as like a primary language?
It's crazy. It's difficult. It's really, really difficult. Growing less so, I must say. Big up New Zealand, actually. Yeah. I got to give you your flowers where you deserve it. I must say, it's getting easier on a conversational level. I grew up listening to, like, maybe not the old tongue, but it was spoken like it was the old tongue, which is, if you speak Te Reo Māori, it's conversational Māori. It's just is super different to you're in the valley. Everyone's first language is Te Reo Māori. There's a different cadence, there's a different rhythm, there's a different intent in your voice. I probably couldn't speak like that, to be completely honest. A lot of my generation, actually, because it's reflected like on the, I don't even play it, but it's in the infrastructure. It's not needed. It's not important. It's not an important skill to have. Just, to get by in your day-to-day life and, pay the bills and keep the family happy and keep some food in your stomach, power on. You don't need Te Reo Māori to do that. And I operate, I'm under no illusions about what world I operate in. It doesn't come in that often.
Yeah.
On a conversational level, far easier. I thought I'd be the last of the generation where the parents were like, my dad was super big, rest in peace my dad. My dad was super, super big on, no, you're going to speak to them. You're going to go to Kurekaupapa Māori. You're going to. You're going to. I'm in the, we're going to go to the marae every week. And I hated it. Because I wanted to watch wrestling and Dragon Ball and talk. I want to go to one of those schools where we could talk like that. And my dad,
No?
you make that decision when you're old and we'll see what happens.
Wow.
And he was right.
Yeah.
I wish I could. But yeah, those are the times. But I will say again, I'm hopeful. Because as the I guess the true, like the rural ancestral version of that kind of starts to dissipate, it's not actually going nowhere because there's kids like me out there. So it disperses itself in what becomes conversational te reo, which eventually is just what we speak here in New Zealand. At least if I'm being a super optimist, I'd like to think that that's how it plays out. But no, to answer your question, I can speak conversational. But yeah, the way I was when I was 6, 7, 8, no. And I don't know many that still can, to be fair.
Fair enough. Because I'm going to lead off with this question, going back to your wrestling background. Would you like New Zealand wrestling to incorporate te reo Māori? I feel like it needs that incorporation of te reo Māori, because if you watch pure wrestling in Japan, Japanese is a fluent language, despite the fact the market in wrestling, we both know, is for the English-speaking market. But would they allow that native tongue to come out there as proudly as possible? And you can tell because when you watch someone like Yoshihashi, who's an Osakian, and you can tell that southern twang in his language. He's proud of saying it, and he's not saying it in Tokyo Japanese. He's not saying it in that mainland. He's speaking in his native Osaka language. Would you, as a wrestler, would like that in New Zealand wrestling to be a representative out there?
I think it's interesting. I think if I wasn't the NZPW Heavyweight Champion and whatever it took to get here, I think my opinion would be different. I think I have two different opinions. I think it goes without saying at this point, for opinion one, the representation is super, super important. I maybe 2-3 weeks ago just got back from working a company in Melbourne. DMDU, big up Joel and them, shout out Deathmatch Down Under. And they open their shows by giving an acknowledgement to the Aboriginal people, and they say the sovereignty was not superseded. And every show opens with that. And I thought, I think that's a beautiful thing. Where I was having this this discussion with some of my peers, and I must say not many of my peers are Māori. They're not. Not that there's an agenda in that, but they're just not. I guess we don't watch wrestling like that, and I guess we don't go to the trainings. But I was wondering, I'm JT Hollow, and I'm a proud Māori man, but I've never stood on the stage and went, kamate, kamate. I don't know if you would ask me to do that, I don't know I'd feel comfortable to do that. But I can't downplay the value, and maybe a little baby JT who maybe wants to be a wrestler but is too shy to say something, and then he sees his mother tongue. I can't cut that. I couldn't take away from what that merits. I think whatever it is, I think the real problem where it gets kind of silly, especially in an art form like professional wrestling, that is it's simple in nature so that the audience can fill in the blanks alongside you. So it's all very broader themes. And when it's stuff like that, stuff around race and culture, the nuances often aren't honoured because there's an overarching story that you become an archetype rather than truly being just, I'm a Māori man, this is what it really looks like. That nuance doesn't really exist in an art form like professional wrestling. Not that there aren't ways to say what you want to say. And just like any other art form, there's a wrong way and there's a right way in terms of, especially when you give it to the public, there's a wrong way they could perceive it for sure, especially on topics such as something so close to everybody's heart. I would hope whoever does it, do it genuinely. Do it genuinely. You'll never see me up there with a patu and a taiaha because of a sponsorship or because of like the cat. It'll never be me. But I've seen guys like shout out Jamie Tangata Ese, Samoan proud. He comes out doing the Lopaki gimmick and lights the crowd up. And it's for real him. No one told him to do that. And it's not him compromising the integrity of Jamie Tangata
Yeah.
just to get out on a Porsche and be like, I'm going to fly this flag for an agenda. It's genuine, and I got to respect it. Overall, yeah. I think Indigenous stories like super worth telling, especially in this country. And that's speaking beyond just Polynesia. Auckland, what a city, what a mix. What a diverse mix of stories to be told. And wrestling's an art form right for that. So do it honestly. Whatever you're gonna do it honestly.
Yeah.
Because anything less than that, it's gonna look shaky.
It won't be real. It goes back. I always go back to realism when I use it as an example. I go back to Japanese wrestling. I go back to strong style. If the crowd doesn't feel it, then they won't feel it because you're not doing it genuinely. You're not feeling the hits and whatnot.
The crowd can tell if you don't believe. Believe you me, I could show you my first 2 years worth of matches. The crowd knows when you're fake, which is, again, it's hilarious considering the circumstances around what we do as professional wrestlers. That they don't respect when you fake the funk.
No,
so you can't.
Yeah, and because it reminds me of a young talent back in New Japan by the name of Aaron Henare. Mm-hmm. And he started off as Toa Henare, and I remember his entrance had a lot of Te Reo Māori in it, and a lot of our Japanese fans were looking at it going, "Whoa, what's this language?" Because if you listen to his old entrance before he joined the United Empire, the group that he's in now, it's in Te Reo Māori, so it has parts of a haka in it, and it has a call in it as well. So I'm listening to it, I'm going, whoa, that's unique. You don't hear that sort of thing out here. And Aaron had to go all the way out to Japan to do that. He sometimes brings it out here when he does his shows like Warrior Wrestling.
Yeah, shout out Warrior. Shout out T and them. Yeah.
So it's when I look at you, I was like, cool. I could ask these sort of questions because it's an interesting lens to see from then onwards.
Big again. Shout out to Aaron as well. He gets super slept on. For his contributions to and again, probably maybe slept on in the business because ain't too many of us really know what he means when he says it was hard to get here. Full respect to him. I know exactly what you're talking about. I was watching World Tag League in 2017 and it was like Sakura Genesis or something or whatever. They were in Kurikan and this dude's doing haka and he looks like me and he's speaking my language in the post conference. I couldn't big up to Aaron, bro. And again, the value in that. And then as purely as the consumer, it's really not my business whose prerogative that was. I know what the effect was as a consumer. I said, I think I could maybe go training because now it's a little bit more realistic than it was the day before. Yeah, so big up to him.
Because at the end of the day, I shout out to the fellas who do big in the Polynesian sector. You got the Anawai family and who's in America who currently does the WWE. We know who the Anawai family is. The Rock. It's all those guys. And then you got the other side of Japan where you got the Haku family who's like Tamatonga, Tongalao, or Hikaleo, and they're all making big out there, and we're proud. We represent our islands. That includes New Zealand and all that beautiful stuff, and that includes you, my friend.
Oh, thank you, Colin.
That includes you. You shine a big bright beacon to remind those in the other wrestling communities. We are not to be messed with in the Southern Hemisphere. We go down like this. You know what I mean?
No, we do. 100%.
Absolutely. So we're coming up to our final minutes of this podcast, and I've been enjoying every second of it. So I normally end off with two questions. So the first question is, do you have a piece of quote that you like to share that you always have in your back pocket, or like a saying that you always remember that is amazing, incredible, has some effect to you?
This is going to sound so rehearsed. I feel very... it's a Socrates quote, my friend. to one close to my heart. I got my first pop. Just a quick explanation. Pop is when people in the room go, "Oh, you're cool." Right, you're looking for an affirmation and you get it. That's a pop. My first time I got a pop in high school was year 9. And there was this saying on the wall. It was my social studies teacher doing the intro. And he said, "Oh, what does this mean?" And I guess I got it right. And I got a big pop from him. The saying says, to know is to know that you know nothing. That is the true meaning of knowledge. I live my life by the tenet that the key to success is humility. And that's humility in all and everything, which is like, people think be humble is like easy. That's the hardest. But to exhibit humility in all things. But I believe that's the key. So to know is to know that you know nothing. Just keep that in mind.
Thanks. And my final question, because I'm going to switch up a little bit, Will, what is it that you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years in the future? Will you see yourself moving beyond the borders of New Zealand and going out further from Australia to America, to Mexico, to Japan, maybe? Or you think of a career change? Is something that you want to do in the next 5 to 10 years?
I want to be gone for sure. I guess I shouldn't say too much because there's a group of us considering a few options. There's a few of us that want it on a larger scale who really want to chase the dream, as it were. I'll probably be the only from my neighborhood. I come from a Māori neighborhood. So my neighborhood is my cousins and my aunties and my nans and my koros for real. I need that. Again, I was tripping out that I had a belt to my bag, and it's not one I bought. I had to go out and I trained for it and I won it and I put my blood, sweat and tears, and I was carrying it through the same neighborhood. I was 16 years old, pushing reps in my thick-ass 2B5, thinking I was going to make it somewhere. Just go say what's up to Damon and him. That's never lost on me, and I need to carry that torch 100% for myself, for the people that have believed me thus far, and for communities like the ones we come from, bro. It's important, man. Kids, do what you want, bro. It's tough, but do what you want. And you're gonna have all the reasons to quit. Your parents are gonna be right. They're gonna be right when they tell you it's stupid. They're not even wrong. You probably should listen to them. Don't. Be a wrestler, bro. Be a writer. Be a singer. Be a podcaster. Be a chaser, bro. But chase it with honesty and humility, though. Attack the work with humility. Attack your responsibilities in your field with humility. Chase that, bro. Please, man. Please, bro. If nothing else you take from this, chase that, bro. Chase that. Chase it relentlessly. Please, man. Please. Sorry. No, I honestly, as sitting as a host, I always say this to my guests. I tend to strip away the word guest and host. It becomes friends, and we're sitting here and we're chilling and vibing. It's like a normal day, and I'm sitting here I'm talking to a friend I haven't seen like in 20 plus years, and I learned that from like being amongst people like Will and whatnot. And the best thing is that you get the opportunity to hear everyone's story. And it's a beautiful thing when you hear someone so passionate about what they're saying and you feel it behind it. You have a ferocity of a phoenix that will rise twice as bright and will always be the strongest one out there. And I wish you luck in whatever you do in the future, my friend. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you. Thank you for coming here. It's awesome. And once again, thank you for watching my episode. You know what? We're doing it in Camp 2, right? We're doing Camp 2. Thank you much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did.